WWE are unifying multiple titles next week, plus we had a debut and a return on last night's NXT, and some major changes could be coming to the WWE Draft. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Multiple titles coming together right now over me next week.
Yes.
Nice. Next week, Worlds Collide is presented by NXT and NXT UK. And we're seeing the merging of some metal, aren't we, Jack?
We are. First of all, the NXT Women's Championship with a triple threat match taking place to unify both the NXT and the NXT UK titles. We've got the NXT Women's Champion, Mandy Rose. We've got the NXT UK Champion, Meiko Satomura, the legendary Meiko Satomura, I should say. And Blair Davenport, formerly known, of course, as WCPW's own B. Priestley. They're all going to meet in a triple threat match, and the winner will have the unified titles, yes.
Enjoyed the way they set this up, because Blair Davenport and Mandy Rose are having a tete-a-tete over the title in the ring, and then here comes Meiko Satomura, who's going, how about me and you, Mandy, for both belts?
Yeah.
And Blair's like, hello, I'm here.
Yeah.
And then Meiko goes, all right, you can take the pin in that match.
Oh, I think that is going to happen, whichever way it goes. I don't know. I can't predict who's going to win out the other two, but I think you're right. I think that, unfortunately, WCPW's own Blair Davenport is there just to take the pinfall. But we'll see. You never know. You can always be surprised. But there's another match as well, Tom.
There is indeed. So Tyler Bate, proudly representing the West Midlands, said that he actually referenced NXT Europe becoming a thing, and he said, what better way to start NXT Europe than by dissolving the brand? No, than by unifying the NXT UK and the NXT Championships. Tyler Bate referring to himself as the first and the last NXT UK champion, which made me a little bit sad.
Oh, that is quite sad to think, actually, yeah.
He hasn't even won the belt yet in canon. Let's not worry about that.
But you raised an interesting point there, because obviously these are taking place because the NXT UK brand is dissolving or going on hiatus, I think, officially.
It's cancelled.
I know. It's kind of being overtaken by this new NXT Europe, but to get rid of the belts, they are unifying them with the main NXT belts. So yeah, Bron Breakker versus Tyler Bate. I genuinely don't know which way that'll go, because as you mentioned, or as Tyler Bate mentioned, it would draw a lot of attention for that brand to have the big champion on it straight away when it launches. But on the other hand, they've got a lot of stock in Bron Breakker as well. Yeah,
I feel like this is just Tyler Bate handing the belt over to Bron Breakker on his continuing mission.
But it's Triple H now. It's Triple H now, and he loves Tyler Bate. He does love Tyler Bate. He loves that style. He loves everything about him. Whereas he doesn't like Scott Steiner's nephew. No.
Interesting political bit of business there.
No, because they made up. I think I'm wrong about it.
They had a little pose down and made up for all that nonsense in 2003. Let's forget it ever. Let's forget 2003 happened. Let's all move on. So yeah, I mean, there's suggestions here with both of these unification matches that it's the NXT champions times to move up. For Mandy Rose, she's kind of been ready to go back to the main roster for quite a while now.
Yeah.
So Meiko Satomura sort of taking her place and continuing her run as final boss of NXT.
That could work.
I'd like that, because I think Meiko in NXT UK has been a phenomenal player manager.
But isn't Meiko based in the UK?
She is, which is why I kind of have a feeling in my waters that she might not win it. I feel like this is like a final tour of duty for Meiko Satomura. I don't know whether she would want a full-time run in NXT. I think NXT UK very much fitted her lifestyle.
Yep.
So I don't know whether she will, but...
Well, then do you know what I'm going to say?
Go on.
Do you know what I think? Because I think if one of the titles goes to the main... I think a UK person will win one of the titles. So maybe Tyler Bate's going to... If Mandy keeps hold of that one, maybe Tyler Bate's going to win. I don't know. Or maybe Blair Davenport will win, and then Bron Breakker will retain the men's one. I don't know.
But then, yeah, similar thing with Bron Breakker. Maybe this is a time that you bring him up to the main roster now. Maybe you start that journey now with Bron Breakker and have Tyler Bate as the top guy in NXT from off of America for a bit.
There's so many permutations. There's so many things that can happen.
Incidentally, Meiko Satomura was doing stuff on Monday Nitro around the same time as Bron Breakker's dad was.
Oh,
it's a fun little factoid.
I thought you were going to say around the same time as Tyler Bate was born.
I mean that probably as well. Yeah. So someone shared a photo of Meiko Satomura on Nitro this morning. I'm like, and there she is on NXT UK. We are wild and young. Wow. Also, last night on NXT UK, we had a 2.0 debut for somebody from the UK brand.
Yes, we did. Charlie Dempsey, a.k.a. The Sun, of William Regal. He debuted on NXT last night as part of Andre Chase University, Ross's favorite stable in all of professional wrestling. He's kind of brought in an interesting dynamic to the group because they're all happy-go-lucky, and Andre Chase is a bit angry sometimes, but he's just Andre Chase, just what he's like. Whereas this guy's serious, so they've brought him in, and he's going to change the dynamic, I think, of the group. He might lead to some tensions in the group as well, because he brought him in, Andre Chase did, and said, you need to listen to this guy. When we were out in the UK, I met him. I think he's really good. I think he's got a lot of promise. Show them some grappling. Go on. And he battered them.
He just batters them, doesn't he?
He's wrenched on the limbs of many students, and it looks like he could be getting a push straight away.
There was a bit at the end where they're like, what are you doing that for, Charlie? It was only a training thing. He then told everybody in Chase U to go home and Google Billy Robinson. Oh. Now, I'm going to do that now. I know it looks unprofessional, me holding my phone during a news video, but I'm doing it for deliberate purposes. Okay. Saw somebody kick off about it the other day. No. So I'm actually going to Google Billy Robinson. And I'll see what the first answer that comes up is indeed a mixed martial artist, William Alfred Robinson from the professional wrestling world. Oh. So I was worried we might get somebody completely different, but thankfully we do. Because I thought we might get somebody from Swiss Family Robinson or something, but it is Billy Robinson all the way down. So yeah, you can officially Google Billy Robinson. Have a go yourself. It's a fun little game to play. As well as a hello, we had a hello, then a goodbye as Index finally reaches, the index of its book together.
Dexter Lumis obviously returned to, the main roster really, recently under Triple H, but now has returned to NXT last night to reunite with Indy Hartwell, his wife, remember, carrying her off to the back. But this time, he handed her a letter that said goodbye before being taken away by the police. Oh. Not that sounds like the band. Before Sting turned up. Yeah. Messaging.
You don't have to sell your body to the night.
No, Sting isn't really that Geordie, I must point out.
He is. I saw him in Only Murders in the Building when he pops up in that. He's very Geordie in that.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm a big Geordie, man.
You notice that Sting looks so much like Lex Luger, not Sting.
We said that on the Classic Nights review. It's weird,
isn't it?
It should be the other way. That Sting should be Sting. Fields are bally. So there's a lot going down on NXT, getting ready for Worlds Collide next week, which will run up against AEW All Out because, hey, our weekend wasn't busy enough as it is. Chuck another show in.
No, I'm excited, though.
Hey, Impact, you want to do flipping Bound for Glory as well? Go on.
I'm excited. It's like a mini WrestleMania weekend.
It really is. I'm buzzing.
Even though we are very busy a lot of the time during it, I feel like there's always an excitement around weekends like that.
Oh, I'm excited I'm excited. I'm on Team Cardiff. If you're going
to Cardiff.
Yes!
Oh, you and Sam?
Me, Sam, Owen and Andrew.
Oh, you're gonna look, those two lads. I mean, Sam's obviously an experienced traveller, but those two lads, they've never seen anything like the Bright Lights of Wales. You're gonna have to
right?
Come on, stop walking in the road.
I'm sad that we're going down on different days. I love Andrew on the train as he arrives in Cardiff as that U2 song "City of Blinding Lights" plays. He goes past the dump.
What? Cardiff's meant to be good.
No, Cardiff's gorgeous. I'm saying a dump on the way into Cardiff is beautiful.
Is it actually? I've never been.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Apparently there's a nice little waterfront.
Yeah. Oh. I can't wait to hang out in gorgeous Cardiff with you. We're going to hang out, yeah?
And back here, Team Newcastle will be doing all the coverage that you want and all that sort of stuff, all the reactions, all of the WTFs, all of the what happened at. We won't be missing out just because we've got a presence there in person. Like, it's best of both worlds, like NXT and NXT UK.
And Hannah Montana. AEW and NXT colliding next weekend, but also colliding in October because scheduling conflicts with the Major League Baseball season mean
Cubs go.
Yeah, go Cubs. Means that we're going to get a Tuesday edition of Dynamite, which will run up against NXT. Like the good old days.
So from what I'm guessing here, Tom, is that AEW Dynamite is going to be running on Tuesday because of the baseball.
Yes.
So on October 18th, we're going to get a slight little revival of the Wednesday Night War, but on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
I'm excited just for Triple H, just for lols to go, oh, look, John Cena on NXT
I bet he does something massive, yeah.
Just to wind him up.
I should retract my Go Cubs Go because I think that late on in the year, that will be the post-season season where the best teams all play each other for the win, and I don't think the Cubs are going to make it.
Plus, Cubs are small bears. They're not a baseball team.
Cubs go.
Weird thing to say. We'll end on some news about the draft. It looks now, kind of the vibe that we were getting was that a draft is imminent for October times or post Clash at the Castle. We'd see roster members moving around. Fightful Select saying that's not the case.
No, they've said, we were told by WWE sources that several Raw talent were unbooked from the SmackDown that follows Clash at the Castle. Many stars had been told that the draft was likely taking place that week, but if it is, a significant number of crossover talent were not involved. They go on to explain this, saying USA Network sources have told talent that the draft isn't happening in the immediate future, with after WrestleMania to be a likelier landing spot. However, they don't have a specific date for the draft. WWE had not officially announced the draft and hasn't given us a confirmation about any of the dates, and talent hasn't been given a heads up about anything happening in the coming weeks.
I like the idea of the draft happening post WrestleMania.
Yes.
That feels like a nice place to hit the reset button on the roster.
It does. And I think doing it before Survivor Series always annoyed me as well.
Yeah.
Because then we're barely used to the new rosters anyway, and suddenly they're fighting for brand supremacy. And I'm like, well, I don't. So I agree. Especially when everything's meant to culminate at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And one thing I think people get sick of really quickly is the pay-per-views after Mania featuring a lot of rematches from Mania. This would avoid that, hopefully.
It would avoid that, and you get a whole... Cause I'm sure back in the day, they used to have a draft lottery sort of around just after WrestleMania. I'm sure they did. Like, my brain is being pulled back to 2004 when you had Shelton Benjamin rock up on Monday Night Raw. And it was sort of around post-WrestleMania time. Do forgive me if I'm wrong on that.
But they also did one, I remember in 2017, I think, because you had Orton and The Fiend suddenly were on different brands, but they were still
feuding,
having that weird House of Horrors match, So, but then sometimes they'd also in the summer do like the Superstar Shake-Up or whatever. So
maybe I'm thinking of shake-ups, but either way,
no, not back then. You're definitely right back then.
That's fine. Draft being excluded until post WrestleMania. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. You're on Twitch tonight.
Yes, with Owen Mawson at 6 p.m. UK time. We are currently nearing the end of the summer transfer window. Hopefully we'll get to the start of next season. But at the minute, we're in pre-season in Portugal.
I'm excited for you. I want the whole thing. Are you streaming live from Portugal?
No, we're just in there.
Should be in Portugal.
Yeah.
Go Portugal quick. Get a cheap flight. Get yourself over there quick.
We've got another news video later on. Can I get someone else to
Don't
be
worry
on
about that.
Okay.
Get to Portugal.
Right.
Twitch.tv/Cultaholic. Cultaholic FC's trials and tribulations via the Power of Football Manager with Jack and Owen later on today on our Twitch channel. And we'll have more wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.